Good morning, students. Now, in today's session of SST class, we are going to take up the second chapter of Civics, that is, understanding secularism. Now, children, in the previous chapter, if you remember, we had studied about the features of Constitution, and this point, secularism, it was one of the features of Constitution. Now, till now, what we know about secularism is that it means a person is free to follow any religion of his choice. He cannot be forced to follow any other religion. He can interpret the religion according to himself. Interpret means he can define the meaning of the religion according to his understanding. So this type of freedom, it refers to secularism. And in this chapter, we will study about it in more detail. We are going to add some more points to secularism. So for this, first let us understand the features of secularism. Now, as you can see, the first feature of secularism is that it promotes equality of all the religions. That means, according to this point, all the religions, they hold equal importance in the country. Now, the second features is that it gives freedom to the religion. All the religions, they are free to preach in their own way, to practice in their own way. So nobody can restrict them. So it gives freedom to the religion to preach. And then the third point says it promotes a rational thinking. Rational thinking means thinking which leads to equality in one way, or something which is practical, equal for all. So secularism, it leads to rational thinking. Of course, when it gives freedom to all the religion, when it says all the religions are equal and they can preach in their own way, it does not restrict them. So all these things, they lead to rational thinking. And the fourth point which you can see is that in secularism, it means no official or state religion is there. That means the country does not give importance to any one particular religion, or it does not appoint any one particular religion, or it does not state that the country has this as official, a particular religion as official religion. So in a way we can say that secularism, it refers to separation of the religion from the state. From the state means the country, the political system of the country. So basically, one new point which we are going to deal with basically today is that secularism means separation of a religion from the state. That means religion and the political system of the country, they both are different entities. They cannot interfere with each other. They have got freedom to exercise in their own ways. So these were some of the features of secularism. Now, the next thing which we have to understand is, why do we need to adopt secularism? Or we can say, why is it important to separate state from religion? Now, children, mind you, whenever I use the word state, it means the country, the political system of the country. So why there is a need to adopt secularism, and why is it important to separate the state from the religion? Now, the first reason for this is to avoid any kind of discrimination based on discrimination or persecution or exclusion based on religion. Now, in order to understand this discrimination based on religion, let us take a very simple example. For example, you imagine that you are a Hindu or you are a Muslim or you are a Sikh living in United States of America, where Christianity fundamentalism is very important. That means the basic religion, the majority religion there is Christianity. Now, suppose that in spite that you are a US citizen, you've got the citizenship there, but nobody is willing to give you a place to live, a room to rent. So, how would you feel? I think you'd feel resentful, you'll feel angry, you will feel discriminated, no? And you would like to complain about it, or maybe you would like to retaliate. You'll feel that when Christians they go to India, they should be also treated in the same manner as the Hindus and Muslims are treated here. So this will be retaliation. So in order to avoid this kind of discrimination, we need to adopt secularism, or we need to keep the religion separate from the state. Now let us take this next word, the next point, that is persecution. Now in history we have read about many examples of persecution which is based on the grounds of religion. For example, if the most important and the most famous example is, in Hitler's Germany, many Jews, millions of Jews, they were killed just because they were from a different religion. So they were persecuted on the basis of religion. So in order to avoid such kind of persecution, we need to adopt secularism. And the present Jewish state of Israel, now it treats its Muslims and Christians in the same way. So this is another form of discrimination. And if you talk about Saudi Arabia, in Saudi Arabia, that's a Muslim country. They have an official religion, the Islam. So in that country, the non-Muslims, they're not allowed to build a temple or a church, or they cannot practice their religion openly in the public places. So this is another form of discrimination or exclusion, we can say. So these acts of discrimination or these acts of persecution or exclusion, they take place more easily when there is one religion which is given official recognition by the state at the expense of other religions. So if this is not there, if there is no state religion or there is no official, no religion is given official importance, then this form of discrimination will not be there. So in order to avoid discrimination which is based on religion, we need to adopt secularism. Now we come to the second point, that is to avoid the tyranny of majority, and in order to avoid the fundamental right, the violation of fundamental rights. Now, in order to understand this point, in order to avoid the tyranny, now tyranny means cruelty. Now let us take an example to understand this point. We know that almost all the countries of the world have more than one religion group living in them. And most of the countries now in these within these religious groups only, there is most likely that one group is in majority. For example, if we talk about US, Christianity is in majority. And if we talk about India, Hinduism is in majority. No? Maximum people, they belong to this religion. Now, if this majority group, just imagine that if this majority group, religious group, they have access to the state power, then it is quite possible that they can use this power and the financial resources of the country to discriminate against the other minority religions. So, this tyranny of the majority could result in again discrimination and at times even the killing of the religious minorities. Now, they can also, this majority can quite possibly prevent the minorities from practicing their own religion. So, in order to avoid this kind of tyranny of the majority, no official religion is there, or we can say the state is separated, it's kept separate from the religion. Now, in order to understand this point of fundamental rights, let us take example that in a democratic society, it may be possible. We know that in democratic society, we are given some fundamental rights. For example, let us take the right to equality. Now, according to this right to equality or right to freedom of religion, every person has got freedom to practice any religion, or the person can exit from one religion and adopt another religion, or the person can interpret the religion in one's own way. But if there is no secularism, then this point will, like the majority can protect the religion, the people of the minorities, or the person who wants to exit from the religion and embrace another religion. So that will lead to violation of fundamental rights. So in order to avoid this kind of violation of the fundamental rights, then we need to adopt secularism. Now let us come to the third point, which says in order to function democratically, we need to adopt secularism. Now, democratically, we understand equality. No, wherever there is democracy, there has to be equality. So, if we don't adopt secularism, then this point will not exist. In order to understand, let us take an example. Now, imagine that you all have read about untouchability. No, it is something which is which was practiced in Hinduism. Now, example that you are a Hindu or you are a part of the majority group, but you don't like this practice of untouchability in Hinduism and you want to reform it, you want to change it. Now, suppose if the state power is in the hands of the Hindus who support untouchability, then do you think it would be easy for you to change this practice? No. Even if you are the part of that dominant religious group, you will have to face a lot of resistance from the fellow members of your community. So, in order for a country to function democratically, we need to adopt secularism. Because if secularism is there, that means there won't be any state religion and there will be equality, all religions will be given equality. So then the country is able to function democratically.